we can have our West Coasters, all the good stuff and everything. But Jessica, are you on, honey?
I'm here.
Hi, I hope everything's okay in Florida. So much love to all you guys. I mean, I know it's been absolutely insane craziness down there, and I'm so thankful that you and Stacy and your team has been okay. I mean, okay is an understatement, I'm sure, because it's beyond what many of us can even imagine. So thankful that you're here to pour your love and your all your expertise into us, because I know you still have a lot going on with your personal life. So I'm going to pass it over to you and take it away.
Awesome. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm trying to scroll through and see who's participating. I know some of you and some of you I don't. So I will give a quick introduction. So my name is Jessica Ryder. I live here in Bonita Springs, Florida. You guys have probably heard of that now since Hurricane Irma nearly blew us off the map. My house was actually located literally less than a mile from the water. So it was pretty scary when all that was going down, and we evacuated and evacuated again and again. And finally we returned home last week. So I live here with my husband, and I have 3 little girls. One is 5, and then I have 16-month identical twin girls. And I do this along with my other business, which is digital marketing. So that's why I can come to you guys and offer some kind of different perspective. I actually do this professionally. So what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that has really kind of changed my business in 2017, and that is sort of forcing myself to unplug from this constant need or feeling like I need to be on social media all the time for my business to be successful. I decided early this year that I need to go out more. I need to go meet new people, like actually meet them, not like just sit here and try to connect with people blindly on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever. I mean, that's good too, but I really need to go out, and I need to go out in my community, and I need to connect with people who are like me or people that I haven't seen in a while, and have a face-to-face meeting with them, have coffee with them, reconnect, and be able to start taking those interactions and introducing our business to them. So I started doing that pretty actively, probably back around March. And I have this year, I've recruited basically a whole new team, most in which are local and most in which are doing really well because they're doing the same thing. They're getting out, and instead of having these text message conversations where a lot gets lost on these phones, they can't hear that passion, they can't see your face, they don't feel as comfortable asking you questions. There's just a lot of information that gets left out when we're not having those face-to-face interactions. Or the next best would be phone or a video chat type thing. So anyway, so I have been going out and actually connecting with people in person, and I just wanted to share kind of some of the stories and kind of what I'm doing and how it's working. So I don't know if Kayla is on tonight. I'm gonna look through names, if I can find her. I don't know. So anyway, one of my girls, Kayla, who is in this training, her and I had actually lost contact for a while. She does the same thing I do. She does kind of some freelance digital marketing. And a while ago, we ran into each other at our hair salon. So I kind of thought, you know what, she would be really good for this. I don't know if she'd be interested. She doesn't know me well enough, and I don't really know her well enough. And it'll be way out of left base if I just like come and bring it to her right now. So I didn't. I started just kind of engaging with her a little bit on social media. And then the opportunity presented itself. There was a day where she posted along the lines of, hey, does anybody know anybody looking for some, freelance digital marketing or some help with like digital marketing, because I'm looking to do some freelance work. And I could tell just from previous posts and things like that she really wasn't happy with her job, and that obviously there was something going on there. So I saw people start commenting right away, obviously, as a lot of network marketers would do. Oh, we should talk. You should do this. You should do that. Whatever. I decided to actually private message her and ask her if she had time to meet me for a drink. So when we initially met, my goal was actually to talk to her about digital marketing. I could use the, I think you guys, is everybody muted? I'm getting some feedback. I don't know if people are muted. Anyways, so
Okay, wait, Jess, I muted you. I muted everybody, so unmute yourself. Okay.
Okay, I'm good. I asked her out because I wanted to actually talk about digital marketing. So originally I went there and I was like, okay, I need some help with my other business so I have more time for in field. That was truly, truly the reason I messaged her. When I got there and we started talking, it became very, very clear to me that Kayla was a perfect fit for Rodan and Fields and that she needed this opportunity. Not like she needed it because she wanted to get out of her job. And, you know, she had this freelance thing, but I'd been there and done that. And I know how it is working with clients and they get annoying and whatever. And I had already been there. So, you know, a little bit into the conversation, I just said to her, you know, she's like, well, how is Rodan and Fields? I'm like, I love it. And this is why. I'm like, Kayla, you know that I did this, that I've done freelance marketing, that, you know, I've had these conversations with people and these interactions. And let me tell you why I think you'd be a great fit for this business. And, you know, I told her a little bit and she shut me down initially. She was like, oh no, Jess, I'm not like you. I'm a very big introvert. I don't like people and this, that, and the other. And I was like, girl, that's the best part of this. Most of what we do from our house. You know, anyways, we had this really like casual, non-pushy conversation. I kind of let it be. And then I went home that night and I don't even know if it was a full 24, 48 hours later where she messaged me again and she's like, listen, I can't get this Rodan and Fields thing out of my mind. I think this is something that we need to talk about more, like in more detail. Like I get, the digital marketing thing. Yeah, we can definitely do something together there. But I really want to hear more about this Rodan and Fields opportunity. So, you know, of course I could have just sat there and we could have texted back and forth or we could have hopped on a call or whatever. But instead we took it to another in-person meeting and we sat there and I brought my computer with me. And I've been doing this with every single presentation since I think March. And I'm coaching them to do the same. I brought my computer with me. I logged into my Pulse. And I just showed her. This is easy. What questions do you have? Great. Let me show you the document that answers those questions. And let me show you what I've been earning and what people on my team are doing and how long ago they started. And I'm able to actually sit there and show them our business, show them that they can do it. So I did that with her. I've done that with a few other prospects. But another thing that I've been doing too is actually just going out more and saying yes more. So if I get invited to a network opportunity and I'm free, I go. And instead of just gravitating to the person that brought me there, I try to start talking to more and more people. So I in a conversation, so I kind of gave you guys that little checklist. I don't know how many of you were able to actually read through that today, but like I kind of gave you some steps. Step 1 is stop hiding. Obviously, we're addressing that right now. Step 2 is to be approachable. So when you're at an event, have a smiley face. Don't have your phone out all the time. You're so busy that you don't have time to notice what's going on around you. You get my internet. Hold on. And be approachable. If you're standing up next to them at a cocktail, say hello, who they're with, what they're here for, whatever. Just start being more approachable. And then if you do start with people, whether it's the barista when you're having coffee in the morning, the girl washing your hair at your salon, mom at school, somebody at the front desk at school, or whatever. If you start having a conversation with somebody and the opportunity to ask, you know what, are you on Facebook presents itself, or make it itself, take that opportunity to connect, like put brain today to stop just walking away from conversations you're having, even if it's like with a random person and you don't know their name yet. That's okay. You know what? Are you on Facebook? I'd love to connect with you. And just that way we can kind of stay in contact. I've started doing that a lot. I do that with dance moms. I do that with moms at her gymnastics. I do it with wives of my husband's vendors. I do it with anybody I meet. I start to connect with them because now they watch my life. They can start to see like, oh, she's kind of funny and her kids are really cute and she seems like she kind of knows what she's got going on. This business she's doing, and oh, I could use some skincare. Like they start to follow, like don't jerk off those casual conversations, because they can really turn into opportunities. So I'll give you another example. Recently, we did, me and one here in town, we went and did one of those, like a charitable event where they had vendor tables. And I know a lot of people think those are stupid and a waste of time and money, but they're only stupid of time and money if you're not doing it right. If you go to those events with the intention of selling a bunch of product like your table and being a millionaire and you leave, you're doing it wrong. If you go to events and you come off from behind the table and you make an effort to actually connect with people and have conversations, whether they're interested in your product, that's okay. Ask them what they're doing at the event. Ask them who they're here with. Ask them if they've ever heard of Rodan Fields, whatever. You never know how many good you can have. So my story is from that night, this really, really pretty girl, tall, blonde, walked up to our table. And she was like, one lash juice on the table. It was when lash juice was like sold out. Like that was my last tube on the table and it was sold already. And I didn't ship it because I knew I wanted it for display. So I brought it to the event, had it on the table, and she walked up and she was very like, you know, good for the world. And she was like, hey, I buy it now, I'll give you cash. And I was like, no, it's not for sale. I already have it sold. She's like, well, can't you just get another? I'm like, no, it's sold out. I was like, gave me an eye roll, whatever. And then I just said to her, I was like, okay, well, you know, I can take your and let you know. It's like, fine. She started writing. And it's like, okay, well, I want to take a sample and a catalog. And she's like, no. She's like, I tried your skincare. It doesn't work for me. I'm like, oh, okay, sorry. So I asked her, you know, well, what did you try? And she's like, I don't know, just some stuff and it didn't work. I'm like, okay, great. She's like, but let me know about Lash Boost. Okay. So I took her information. I emailed her, and no, I take that back. I gave her my call. So I didn't think she would email me. I had her information, but I never thought she would email me first. She did. She emailed me, and she was like, hey, Jessica, just let me know when that Lash Boost comes in. Takes a sign, and in her signature is out that she local publication that distributes newsletters into affluent communities in Southwest Florida. Oh, I forgot one thing. Before she said, thank you, Susan, she said, I think some of my clients in my neighborhoods would be interested in your products. So I read the signature line and I'm like, well, you know, she obviously has influence, and she was a little sad the other day. Respond and see if I can kind of open up a door where maybe her and I could go out and have a conversation. So I emailed back and said, hey, Susan, you know, it's so nice to talk to you. I'll let you know this Lash Boost back. By the way, in addition to doing fields like digital marketing and social media, and I think some of my clients could fit for your publication, we should try to grab lunch sometime and, you know, and just kind of chat about how we could, you know, work together. Sent that email off, and I kid you not, within an hour, my phone's ringing. And I'm like, what's this weird number? Answer it, and it's Susan. And she's like, hey, Jessica, you know what? I didn't want to email you back. I wanted to call you because I just have so much to say. That, you know, I'd love to talk and see how we could work together. And, you know, I have some clients that could really use help with social media and marketing, and I'd love to talk to you more about Rodan and whatever. And so from there, Susan and I went out, we had lunch, we started talking about how we can work together. She's very interested in having me come in with the keys and do some events to add value to the homeowners and things like that. So goes to show you, she's only one of the people. More customers that I gained from that night. And I have a couple other people that I'm still kind of talking to about meeting up to discuss the business opportunity. So there just goes to show that if I had decided that those events, just what I heard from other consultants, that they're a waste of time, that they're a waste of money, and that they're whatever, if I decided that was true and I didn't say yes and I didn't go there and I didn't come up from behind my table and I didn't get the person's information and I didn't, just keep the conversation, which is number 3 on my list. So stop hiding, be approachable, and kind of keep the conversation going. Very well could have just died. I could have just brought those lists that was home, never sent her an email. She was bitchy to me on our first interaction, just let it die. Whereas now I've opened up my network. And oh, by the way, I forgot this part. When we met, it turns out that I worked with her husband years ago, and I got along really well. So network opened up. So that's why it's so important to say yes, get out, and when you're approachable, when you are connecting with people on a friendly level, make sure that you find a way to get some kind of information exchange, whether this card, friend add themselves on your phone on Facebook when they accept it. Keep the conversation going by letting, hey, I really enjoyed our chat today, and your child where you can find cute kid shoes. I just saw some at Kohl's the other day. And kind of keep that back, because then it's going to get easier for you to bring up this business and ask them, hey, so I don't know if I mentioned it the other day, but I wrote in and have you ever heard of it? Have you ever tried it? Yes, no, maybe so. You'll get some kind of answer for them. And if they haven't, door to open up the conversation of, well, would you like to try a sample? And keep that going. Would you like to try a sample? Yes. Okay, great. Well, tell me about your concerns. Boom, boom. And before you know it, you can easily segue yourself into presenting the opportunity to them if you think that it's a good fit. So number one list was to be authentic. So in all of these interactions when you're out and about, whether you're at some kind of like craft party and you're not crafty, or like some business charity event and you're there with like big who's of the world, it's so important to be you. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to pretend like, you're Miss Louis Vuitton if you're on that, but I'm trying to think of another bag, a Coach budget. There's nothing wrong with being on a Coach budget. It's okay. Don't try to be something you're not when you're there. Just be you. Be the best version of yourself, because when you do when they connect on a Facebook level or social media level, you want them to trust you and not think that you're some that tries to people please whoever you're coming in contact with because you want to sell them something or present a business opportunity or anything like that. Just be yourself, and that's super important. Which kind of brings me to, I got my Queen Bee bag there. So the whole Queen Bee thing with me, that's kind of been my little persona for a while. So will tell you guys why really fast. I think I have time. So the whole reason I decided to become an entrepreneur was because I'm so tired of my job and dealing with people that just make my skin and like blood boil like every single day. And a lot of it was because it was love. Did so much for their business, and they had never really let somebody into their inner circle before like they did with me. So I was obviously looked at by the rest like a threat, or I'm better than everybody else. I don't know. And they would call me Queen Bee behind my back.
Hey, Jess. Yeah. We're getting like every like second or third word, and you're frozen.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm frozen. Can you hear me now?
This is frozen. Is there another place in your house that might have a little better internet?
Yeah. Let me try to move.
Okay.
Let's see.
I know. I've had internet. It's so obnoxious.
I'm just going to carry my computer.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
You're coming back to life. You're moving now. You weren't moving for a little. Okay. All right.
I'm just going to set you guys on my knee in my bathroom.
Okay, cool. All right. Now you're good.
Okay. So my Queen Bee story. So anyway, my bosses let me into the inner circle. Everybody at all the team thought I was like, thought I was entitled or whatever, and I was not. I was always so nice and helpful and whatever, but they started calling me Queen Bee behind my back. And so when I finally made the decision to go out and start my business, doing digital marketing and social media, I actually named it Bee Social 365 with the Queen Bee as my logo. And I got some redemption the day that P.S. my former employer was one of my clients. So one day I came back in to see the team, and my boss was like, "Oh, Jessica, tell them about your business. Tell them what you named it. Tell them all that stuff." And so I got to thank them that day. Hey, thank you so much for the inspiration for the name of my business. I named it Bee Social, and here's my business card. It's got the Queen Bee on it, and that's actually my job title, whatever. So talking about being authentic, I have taken that Queen Bee into this business. My team name is Team Bee Free, and just sort of had that Queen Bee persona and mentality when it comes to this business. When I'm out and about, I don't ever feel ashamed or embarrassed to bring this up, regardless of the nature of the person I'm sitting in front of. So I live in a super affluent market where you're talking, one of my daughter's best friends, her dad is a top 10 realtor in our country. When I sit there and talk to him, I'm not ashamed to talk about my business, just the same way he talks about his business, because I know this is a real and legitimate business that has potential to be huge for people. And what I have found is, since I started being very confident and happy to talk about my business, it has actually attracted a higher performing type person. So no longer am I like, okay, I just need to go after these people that could use the extra money, this, that, or the other. When I'm out and about, I am super excited to talk about this with go-getters, achievers, people who I know would do really, really well in it. And, boom, that's one of the first things that we talk about is, how's your business? Well, good. How's your business? Oh, I love what you're doing. I get so many questions about, oh my gosh, it's so awesome what you're doing. When are you going to get your car? Are you going to go on any of those cool trips? And then I tell them, yeah, I'm going to Napa, and, it's legitimate. So anyways, just be proud of this business and don't be afraid to bring it up. There's very, very natural ways to bring it up. One of the things I put in that script from earlier today was, one of the most common questions people ask is, what's new, or what do you do? When you get that question, you've got, and Stacy actually, who's my direct level 5, she just went to an event and she called me right after, and she's like, oh, I want to kick myself, because she's a photographer. And she went to this event, and, everybody was kind of going around and, okay, well, what do you do? What do you do? And she's like, hi, I'm Stacy. I'm a photographer. And yeah, whatever. And she just totally stopped. She didn't even talk about Rodan & Fields. And it was, thankfully, somebody else brought it up and was like, that's not all you do, Stacy. You have a whole nother business. And she was like, you're right, I do. And after it kind of dawned on her, yeah, when I'm with my wedding friends, I need to still be proud of this business and not forget to bring it up, because it is making a huge difference in my life. So yeah, don't be ashamed to say, when they ask what you do, don't just stop at your day job, or don't just say, oh, I stay home with my kids or whatever. Be very, very proud of your skincare business. Oh, I own a skincare business. And that's how you should word it. And don't say, oh, I'm a Rodan & Fields consultant. No, I own a skincare business. And they'll be like, well, what do you mean you own a skincare business? Yeah, I own a skincare business. I own this, I'm partnered up with the same doctors that created Proactive. That's going to keep a conversation moving when you're talking to somebody, especially somebody that's, in the business world. So going back to Susan Bush, when her and I were out, I forgot to share this part, and it's really funny. So when her and I were out, she was like, nobody really makes any money doing that, do they? She's like, I feel like it's so played out. It's so 3 years ago. I was like, well, Susan, my organization in itself, just me and my team below me, is doing almost $1 million a year in revenue. I'm like, are you doing $1 million a year in revenue? And she was like, I was like, yeah, we're doing $1 million a year in revenue, my little skincare business. So she definitely changed her tune after that. So be proud of what you're doing. Don't be afraid to talk about it. So don't hide, be authentic, keep the conversation going. What else? Hold on. I got to go get my list. I left it. Master the art of asking questions. That's super duper duper important.
question-based selling is huge. I mean, I went to college for business. I always wanted to be in sales. After college, I read a bazillion sales books. One of the best ones is The Little Red Book of Selling by Jeffrey Gitomer. If none of you have read that, it's great. It's short. It's easy. There's little comic strips in it. It's just a great book. And he has a whole series of books that are just like that you can piggyback with it. But in a lot of those books that you learn about selling is the best way to get somebody talking so that you can start to, like I said in the little I posted earlier, be like undercover cop. The more information that you have, the more you can go on for just a hammer close, because now, like, you know what their pains are, you know what their objections are, you know what their why might be, you know. So when you're having conversations with people out and about, it doesn't have to be all Rodan and Fields for you to gather that information. If you're sitting there talking to a mom at the park or, you know, on a playground or whatever, and you just strike up conversation, you know, again, you're probably going to have that. Well, so what do you do? What does your husband do? What is this? You know, you're going to have those conversations. They're going to come naturally. Ask questions wisely. If she's not asking you those questions, ask her, well, what do you do? Because she's going to reciprocate and ask you the same thing. And now you're having a conversation about, oh, well, I work from home. I have a skincare business, which is great because, you know, when I had my first daughter, I always knew that if I had more kids, I didn't want to send them to daycare right away. And you can start to share little bits and pieces of your story, and you're going to find how many moms, this is what's crazy. I know maybe not everybody has kids yet. There are so many moms that are either working and want to work less or not working and want something for themselves. So if you're having these kinds of conversations where you're asking questions, so if you're opening the door about, hey, do you want to try a sample? What kind of skin issues do you have? Da, da, da. And then you get to a point where they're like, well, the products are so expensive. Well, now if you've had a conversation already on the playground or wherever, or in a business setting about financial goals, yeah, we're trying to save for a trip to Disney, or we're trying to do this, or we're trying to do that. Now you can be like, well, listen, you know, I think it would be a great time for us to chat about this opportunity, and I can share with you why I decided to join and why I think it would be a great fit for you. You told me that you're, you know, I'll go back to Kayla. Hi, Bryn. That you want to go back to, that you want to leave your job because you're just not happy, and that you want to go do some freelance marketing, but you don't think that that's going to give you the same income that you're used to. Okay, well, what if you were doing the freelance marketing and you were building Rodan & Fields at the same time? I bet you that you could get back to your salary a lot faster than if you were just picking up clients that are billable. Like when you take on a new client, that's a billable hour. There's only so many hours in a day that you can bill for. Where with Rodan & Fields, if you grow a team and you grow a customer base and everything like that, it's residual income. You don't have to put more and more hours into it to get more and more out of it. It's just smart business. So those are the types of conversations that I've started having with people after kind of we've gone out in person and we've chatted and we've had some things like that. And now I'm kind of armed with the information to say to them, like, well, why wouldn't you do this? You've already told me that these are some of your goals. So I think that this business could help you get there. And then I feel like people are a little less resistant when it comes from a place like that than if you're just going, you know, right off the get-go, like, you should join me right now, right this minute. So use those personal interactions, get out, connect with some new people. It's not as scary as you think. Like I started to make an effort to do some coffee dates. So like this whole hurricane thing has really thrown a damper in my socialization. I don't even like it. You know, schedule a coffee with a friend you haven't seen in a while, or schedule coffee with a good preferred customer of yours who should consider crossing over. Schedule coffee with a preferred customer who was a referral that you've never actually met in person, that, hey, you know what, we've had so many great conversations on text message, I'd love to actually meet you. And if they're out of town, I mean, so a lot of us have out of town customers or whatever, pick up the phone and talk to them and be like, hey, you know, we have all these text conversations, but let's chat. I have an idea. I mean, that's something that I love to use as a little get them on the phone trick, is just to tell them, listen, I have an idea I want to talk to you about. Get them on the phone and say, listen, you've been buying product from me for, I don't even know how long. I know you love hydration, you love Lash Boost, you love the Redefined regimen. You asked me about lip serum last week. Have you ever considered doing what I'm doing? And they might tell you no, or they hit you with resistance, but just say, just be open-minded for a minute. Let me share with you why I think this would be a good idea for you. You know, when you buy this kit, you get 50% off the products, you get 25% off future orders, and you've already sent me a couple referrals, so I know that you have people that would be interested in these products and probably the business too. And now you're having a conversation with somebody that's already kind of a brand groupie. So anyways, okay, well, that's kind of what I have for you guys. Can we open it up to questions now? Is that okay, Megan? Okay, will you unmute us all?
Okay, hold on. I'm actually upgrading right now, so then we don't have to run out of time. And I was trying to, so you just go ahead.
All right, let me look at my little, child stool that I was using as my stand here. Oh, and if you guys have not read the Get Over Your Damn Self book, you should. That book talks about a lot of what we're talking about tonight. She was a big influence on why I started going out more and saying yes to play dates and scheduling my own play dates. Like I'm doing a Halloween craft day for my daughter and the moms from school and stuff like that. Like just be creative. It doesn't have to always be like going out for wine, this, that, or the other. Some of it could just be, reaching out to, I don't know how many people have kids, even if they're little kids and just babies in class, getting them together to just roll around on the carpet together or whatever is a great way to connect with moms who, again, like I said, it's amazing to me how many moms I meet that are like pulling their hair out one way or the other, working too much or not working at all, and they're just like they need something in between, and this is a great outlet for any mom, I think. So anyways, okay, I would be happy to open it up to questions.
And we have unlimited time, guys. We upgraded, so we're good.
Jessica, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I find that a lot of people, I'm an ultrasound tech, so I scan pregnant mommies all day long.
Yeah.
Today, I had conversations with different moms and, that same thing that you did. When I was reading through at lunch, I was reading through what you posted. And that's one of the things that I made sure I did with every single person today was just kind of say like, yeah, I'm here, but I work 3 days a week, but I also have my own skincare business. Mm-hmm. And some people heard about it. Some people didn't hear about it. But my biggest thing is how do you overcome the comment of, how do you have time for that? Or how do I would never have time for that. Or because a lot of people come at you with the same exact comment over and over and over again.
Well, and so you guys know, Alicia always jokes around. Alicia's like, oh, when people tell me they don't have time, I just send them your picture with the twins. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I mean, honestly, like my personality is different than a lot of people. I'm really feisty and just say whatever. But like, honestly, I just try to be like, well, it's not like I'm sitting around watching paint dry, eating bonbons and watching, soap operas. Like I have a 5-year-old, I have twins, like it's nuts. Like I have some help, but not a lot. So where do I squeeze it in? Who's on Facebook? Everybody who's on, like, here's the thing. Honestly, we can actually see when people are on Facebook because there are little green dots next to them. And it's amazing how many people have told me no to this business that I see with that damn green dot next to it pretty much all day long. So, it's just being real with them. Just tell them when you do it. Like, here's right between you and another patient, I actually was able to send a message to one of my customers who wanted a lash boost, or be honest with them. Like if you do this at night, sometimes just be like, instead of sitting around watching TV at night, I've been doing my business and I feel a lot more fulfilled than I do from watching another rerun of Game of Thrones. Like, I squeeze it in an hour at night. Like, I don't know how many hours you guys are working this. Like, I honestly don't feel like I work that much, especially now that, like I said to you guys, like a lot of what I'm doing feels like socialization. Like when I'm going out and having drinks with somebody, that's a good thing for me to be out of my house, away from my kids and having a cocktail with somebody. And yeah, maybe there's business conversation involved, but I'm still out having a drink and not with my kids. Like that's amazing. So I just try to tell them, like, you're doing Facebook anyways. You're probably text messaging your friends. How many hours of reruns or Netflix and chill are you doing? And, it doesn't take as much time as you think. And another thing that I've been doing, and I've been coaching it, and I think it's working pretty good, is flip it on them. How do you know? How much time do you think that this takes? Let them tell you how much time they perceive that this takes, because in their mind, they're probably thinking you work this thing full time, and then you can, no, girl, I work this maybe 5 to 10 hours a week. And some of that is literally me doing samples while I'm sitting there watching, you know, my Scandal show, or, you know, texting with my girlfriend about her lashes at the same time. Like we're moms. We're used to multitasking. It's the same thing in this business. It's not like we're carving out 10 hours or 20 hours a week typing away at a screen. We're using our phones. We're packaging little samples. So just try to like share with them when you're working it, but also don't be afraid to flip it right back on them and say, well, how much time do you think this takes? Because I think that that's powerful.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and try to connect with some of those moms. Like I know it's kind of like you're like probably not allowed to do a whole lot of that, but like I will tell you that my OBGYN that delivered the twins, her and I are like BFFs now. We didn't become friends.
Sometimes I mean, I have those mini facials with me. Like I give them out at work. I don't. You know.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, and I'm like, no, put that in your bag. You don't want the doctor to see that.
Right. And then you could like say to them, like, girl, I'm going to look you up on Facebook. Are you on Facebook? Yeah. And if she's like, yeah, look me up, do it. I'm not kidding you. Like I brought her and her staff, like some samples. And she was so funny because she was like I came in for my next visit, like right before the babies. And she was like, I tried to Facebook message you. And you know how like sometimes if you're not friends, it goes into like the spammy box. And I was like, oh no. She's like, why aren't we friends on Facebook? I was like, kind of joked with her. I'm like, well, I was just waiting until you were done like cutting me open and removing humans in case I needed to sue you. But I fully intended to be friends when this was all over. So anyway, so now she's a customer and she's been a referral source for me. So I'm sure the same is true the other way for you, is that you've got all these girls there and you probably established some kind of rapport and friendship with them. So you may as well try to connect with the ones that you've got that with.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, what up? Who's next? I think everybody's muted again.
You guys can unmute your own lines. I just muted everybody, and then you can actually unmute yourself if you have a question.
Yeah, don't be bashful, peeps. Oh, I see Kayla's on there. Hi, Kayla. Maybe she's hiding.
Hey, Jessica.
Yes.
Okay. Hey, can you hear me all right?
I'm trying to look at who's talking.
It's Sarah Smith Clark.
Hey, Sarah. How are you?
Hey, good. All right. So I have a question. How often do you do your own events? Like not a business launch, but your own business
like
events?
Like team events or like virtual events? What are you talking about?
No, like in-person events, maybe where you have someone in your network host an event for you, like an in-house, in-location event.
Honestly, I've never had anybody host, like a customer host an in-person one. I've done online, like virtual ones. A lot of my network is still in Ohio and Michigan. I've just started really tapping my Florida network, but I will tell you that my girls that are here that I've added this year, they're doing events and it's going really, really well. And they've had that response from people. They're like friends that are like, you know, hey, I'll host an event for you. I know I just saw, and I can't remember who it was. I think Wendy Green, if you guys know who Debbie Coder is, when Debbie Coder is Wendy Green's sister. Debbie Coder's two daughters, and Wendy Green and Debbie Coder are all RFX Circle Achievers. They talk about doing like at least 3 events a month, whether that's virtual, in person, whatever. They talk about doing 3 events a month, and that's something I'm trying to get my team towards. What I'm thinking about doing is like doing a product event and kind of building the business up, and then like 14 days later, you would do a business event. So if anybody from the product event was interested at all in what's going on with the business, then they could segue over into that event. And then my team and I are trying to put together an event schedule to do like, not so, like we do want to do CNCs eventually, but we also want to do like some product event opportunities, because just like I experienced at that charitable event, I mean, I've gotten like 3 Lash Blue sales off of that with people that they're just like, yeah, just send me the link, and they just buy it, and okay.
Oh.
So if you have a team, you could easily find a cute little venue, put some fun theme on it. Like we were going to do Sip and Shop, and they would just come and they would, get a chance to interact with their person, learn about the products, and then be entered into giveaways. And when you can be in those one-on-one, like I don't know how many of you guys launched your business in person. I think that's gigantic. To really host a launch, because you never know what conversations are going to happen and who's listening to what conversations, and just the validity all builds on itself. So I definitely encourage people to host a launch and start thinking about going into the fourth quarter. Like something I think a lot of us missed the ball on last year was hosting some true holiday events, customer appreciation events, product unveilings. Like we have 2 new products rolling out. We should all be kind of thinking about planning an event where people can come over and try the product before it's even out, out on the market. So anyways, I have not had customers host events for me. It's something that's been on my mind to do, like put it on my VIP page and say, anybody that hosts an event, you'll get X if I get this many sales out of it, type thing.
Okay.
Who else? Anybody?
I have another question.
Yes,
Sorry.
girl.
Does somebody else need to go first? Okay. So VIP pages, and how do you post on your VIP page? Like how often do you post? Do you post a couple times a day? Do you kind of intermix it? Do you kind of shed some like real life in there too?
So I do. I try to be fun, and I do like something I try to do not super often, because I think Romy talked about it in her daily experience the other day. One of the things that's also been bugging me lately is so much consultant pricing going on. That's all great and dandy, but the more and more that we do that, the less and less likely anybody is ever going to pay retail again, or even PC price. They're going to be looking for something. So in my page, a lot of times that I'll do like fun overstock sales where like, if I've had to order some stuff to, hit a goal or whatever I got going on, or if they've got some promos, I'll order a couple extras, and then, I'll just break stuff up, and I'll do like a overstock sale where I give them pretty much the flash sale pricing. So I'll do like, and I do it live, and I kind of build up to it. So, hey guys, I've got some extra stuff on, stuff that I want to get rid of. I'm just going to number the kind of like, I don't know if you guys are any of those like I'm in a twin purge group where they do like those clothing things, but same as like LuLaRoe, where you're like, item number 4 claimed Jessica Wright or whatever. So I kind of ramp up to it, and then I'll do that live with them, and then they'll claim it in the comment section below. And I find that creates really good excitement and loyalty, because, they buy a regimen, and now all of a sudden they were able to get a redefine or hydration or something at 25% off or whatever. So I do that. I do sometimes post about what's going on in life. I do invite them to events. I try to do some education. I do know some girls. I have a girl I follow from Unique, who is a top, like she's like their black level status, whatever. And she does like little beauty tips or fashion tips in there. And I think that's actually a really good idea that I think I'm going to try to start doing more of, is like, hey guys, I was just at Kohl's today and found these cute shoes for $15. They have them in 5 different colors. To start being more of like a resource for them. So, but anyways, I don't post a whole ton on my VIP page. I post, maybe every couple weeks. Like I don't even post every single week in my VIP page. I post like every couple weeks, kind of in the know, or a tip, or hey, we're going to do a sale, or whatever's going on type thing.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. But I definitely think everybody should have a VIP page. Like if you don't have one, definitely have one, and definitely coach your team to have one. Because even if they've only got a few customers, it's a great platform to use to sort of say, hey, I'm going to do a discount sale here. If you add a couple of your friends, I'll send you a little something extra. And I've got customers from that.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Megan, are you frozen? You're back.
Okay, so a couple of things I was gonna kind of branch off from what Jess said. So I am in one of Sarah LeBlanc's training she's doing with a bunch of her directs right now, and she actually told us last week, I don't know which team it is, but it's one of the top teams. They actually do 6 events a month. 6 events.
I think that's what it is. It's 1 degree.
Okay. All right. So, and I was like, 6? Like, what? How do you invite the same people over and over and over? But the concept is that your team's continuing to grow, right? So if you have people that are joining at the beginning of the month and you had a product event that already happened, but then they are not going to, be in that, but then the new people that join in will be able to join in at an event towards the end of the month. And so you're just teaching to have events all the time. So speaking of events, get your butts inviting to our event. That's Wednesday night. I don't do these events to just like twiddle my thumbs and invite all my people to, right? Like you need to get your people there. You need to get the invites out. You got to do the legwork up front. Myself and 2 other leaders were throwing in a lot of cash for these prizes because we didn't ask any money up front from anybody like we have sometimes in the past. I mean, we're just dishing out these gifts, from our own money. So make sure you get those invites out to get people on the event, but you have to send reminders. Day of, hour before, can't wait to see you on at 9 o'clock. I mean, there's already a gift raffle going on right now in the event page just for people accepting that they're going. So make sure you're utilizing all those events, in-person events, CNCs. If you're within an hour, get your butt there. I drive an hour and a half every single month to get to the Troy event. I host a Plymouth event every month. Like those of you that are in the area, get yourself there. I know there's other events going on, but do a fun Wine and Wednesday, right? Have you and 1 other consultant invite 3 people over. If it's just 5 of you, great. Yeah. Post a picture on social media and be like, had such a fun, time tonight, working with wine, and intrigue your network, right? So it's just being consistent with it. Something else I was going to mention. So I shifted the way that when somebody asks me, what do you do for a living? Like, well, what do you do for work? You're at a baby shower and you meet somebody new or whatever. I used to start with, well, I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep and I own a business. And I listened to a training about a year ago and it's like, no, hell no. I'm putting my business first. So I'm like, I actually own a business and I do pharmaceutical sales. Well, wait, what? You own a business? Yeah, it's a skincare business. It's awesome. It's all on my own time. It's virtually done. Have you ever heard of Rodan and Fields, right? Starting the conversation and then kind of going from there. But I think owning and having the confidence that you own a skincare business and you're a teacher. You own a skincare business and you're, in whatever it is, but making sure you're saying that and it's part of who you are, like Jessica was saying, don't forget to talk about that and making it first, making it a priority. Another tip, Jessica talked about how her team personally, she brings in $1 million in revenue, right? What you do and how you do that, like let's say you bring in 1,500 in PSQV each month, and you have 1 business partner that also brings in 1,500 PSQV. So let's say your total org is 3,000 a month. Times that by 12, guess what? You're bringing in $36,000 a month in revenue for your team alone. Okay. If your org volume is at 10,000 a month, times that by 12, you're bringing in 120,000 in sales yearly. I mean, that's huge, whatever the number is, but like know that number because you got to own that. No matter if you feel like, it's small or not, it's not small, you guys, it's big and it's just growing. And so having that confidence is all it takes. Okay. Opening your mouth. One last thing I'll say, when you are, Jess talked a lot about creating those relationships, right? Putting yourself out there to create those relationships. But I do a lot as well is having or asking that one line to people that you'll never see again. You're checking out at a little boutique. You're, at a restaurant and your server's giving you the bill. Those people that like maybe a waiter was really great. She waited on you, super bubbly, asking one question before you check out. So, hey, you were really, awesome at your job today. Like you're such a great people person, very outgoing. Do you ever look at other ways of making money? Right? That simple question. Most of the time they say yes. And that's when you're like, great, I actually have this other business I think you'd be amazing at. Are you on Facebook? I don't even necessarily bring up Rodan and Fields. Yeah, I'm on Facebook. Great. I'd love to connect and chat later. We can grab coffee or something, right? Opening that up, because if you leave, and you guys, I've left before and kicked myself in the ass and been like, Megan, get back in there and go talk to that person. And I've actually gone back in there and talked to that person. And it's kind of funny. And I'll be like, listen, you're probably going to think I'm nuts, but I actually had to come back in here because I couldn't stop thinking about how awesome you are and what you do. You're such a great people person. And I had to ask you something. It's kind of more genuine when I have gone back in there and asked them. So I've signed business partners this way, you guys. Don't be afraid to do it. And you literally have to do it afraid. You'll have this nervous tick in your tummy to be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to say this? How am I going to say it? I'm going to look like an idiot. Like, what am I going to say it right? Like, just do it anyway. And if you look like an idiot, oh well, you're walking out the door, right? But the more you do it, the easier it's going to be. But don't walk away, because they could be your next power partner. And that's always in the back of my mind. Like, don't walk away from somebody, because they truly could be your next power partner. Okay.
Hey, Megan.
I had that happen, I just real fast. I just had that happen on my evacuation route. I met this awesome mom at a park, and her and I were like chatting. She's from New York. She lived all over, da-da-da. We had a great conversation, and then I walked away, and as I'm walking, Steve's like, what the hell was that? And I was like, what? He's like, did you forget something? I'm like, God, I just didn't want to be that girl today. He was like, no, you need to go back. But by the time I went back, she was literally gone. I was like, oh. So don't do it. I should have connected with her. I might like stalker style find her witness protection program somewhere.
Right. I love it.
Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
No. Megan, I just wanted to say, I don't know, and I don't even know if this is the right approach. I do have customers sometimes when I do bring up Rodan and Fields, and they're like, oh, I use that. And I actually offer up, I'm like, oh, do you use this product? And I go, if you don't, you should. And then we'll kind of keep talking. And I've actually gained 2 customers from them because their consultant no longer sells it. I mean, it may have been like 6 or 8 months later, but because they told me that I was so nice to them and I didn't go overboard. I just kind of offered them something else. I was like, oh, and if you have any questions, I'm here to answer your questions, or because you're my patient and, we see each other often. I said, don't be afraid to ask. And I've actually had 2 people come back and purchase something because I did that.
That's awesome.
I signed somebody from that.
Awesome.
Her girl quit, so she quit and she contacted me, and then she just started buying like a boatload of shit, pardon my French, and she was like, I need this and that. I'm like, no, I don't know you, but I know your friend that referred you to me, so no, we're gonna have a conversation, and your friend has told me no 400 times, even though she'd be amazing, so you're gonna sign with me. And she actually just texted me the other day, and it was awesome. So she's not even selling publicly. She's usually only a VIP page because of her job. And she is like, Jess, I made $300 last month just off of a couple freaking selfies in a private page. She's like, that's awesome. I'm like, exactly. She's like, everybody should do this. I'm like, see, and that's why you're going to be successful is you get it now. It's not all about coming out making 10 grand right away. Like if we can all remove that from our heads that, okay, we have to coach them to RFX tomorrow. No, we don't. For most people, if they make $150, $300 a month, that can make a big difference in most people's lives because most people are living check to check. So $300 can be 2 trips to the grocery store, maybe a car payment, a couple utility bills. We never know. So that's why I think it's so important to at least tell people about this and share. And yeah, I mean, totally. If I meet people that say that they have an RF consultant already, I always support that because you never know. I always say I love the quitters, and Stacy's like, no, you don't. I'm like, no, not my people on my team, but like other people's teams. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Anything else?
I'll say one last piece and then Jessica can end it. Confidence, you guys, and Jessica talked about it a lot. It's truly the confidence. Like, you own it. Own it. You guys are CEOs of your business. You own a business. Like, you're a freaking boss, babe. Like, own that, right? Own that. And that confidence is going to always exude out of you. And I always teach my newbies, like, especially at the beginning, and it should never fade. I should be constantly telling all of you, well, that's what I'm telling you now. Like, when you're out and about, and especially the holidays are going to be coming up before we know it, and people are like, oh, so how's your Rodan and Fields business going? And if you're like, like, it's all right. Like, we'll see how it goes. Like, they're never going to join you. They're never going to buy product for you. And they're going to be like, oh, well, that doesn't sound that great. But if you're like, and I don't give a shit if your check was lower than it was a month before, if you're like, it's so much fun. I'm absolutely loving it. The support system's amazing. I'm having so much fun. We should chat more about it. You would love it. They're immediately going to be excited and intrigued. And that's like contagious, right? That is going to always exude out of you. That excitement and that confidence, I mean, what's going to take you far. fake it till you make it, you guys. I did it every day. Fake it till you make it. I'm still faking it till I keep making it more, I mean, it's just, you're always talking about other people's success and you're always just excited. That's going to bring people to you. Okay.
And you can share those stories too. Like when you're out, like, maybe you just started, but you can be like, yeah, I just started and I'm so excited. My first check was like enough to, whatever, give them some kind of, don't tell them the amount, just give them like, oh, I was able to do this. And be like, but listen, my sponsor who joined only 6 months ago, like she's already making enough to pay her mortgage. Like I'm so excited to be able to do that soon. And, like, I wish I would have joined sooner because her sponsors, making enough to pay all her household bills and she's only been doing this a year. Like you can use stories like that, or like my favorite is some of the times when I meet girls that think they're like, they're the bee's knees. They're like a VP of whatever, who cares? You still work for somebody. And they're like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, well, that's fine. Cause there's like a 23-year-old that lives out in Texas who is making probably about $1 million a year. Yeah, she's on her second Lexus. She's 23. And they're like, oh, and I'm like, and her sister paid cash for her house. Yeah, she's like 25. And they're like, oh, like humble pie. So yeah, I mean, share stories too along the way when you're out and having those conversations, because a lot of people question whether this is real or not. And especially if you can, like the closer to you can get in your story sharing. So like, yeah, it's one thing to tell Sarah Robbins' story. But if I'm telling Megan's story, like, yeah, Megan and I danced together in high school, and then Megan and I went to college together, and then Megan and I got drunk at bars together and did weird stuff. now we own skincare businesses together, like, and I can share that success story with
people. And getting drunk in Vegas, no.
Get drunk in Vegas, and now they know Megan, or like my best friend Stacy's on my team. How many contacts do we have in common? And yet we're still able to be successful. So I try to keep my storytelling as, close enough to me. But on occasion, if I need to, I will share some of those like crazy out there stories like that. Who's that girl that's going around right now, that Lacey, that earned her Lexus in 10 months? You can share that story. Just bear in mind that it's not even close to typical results. So I try to kind of keep it closer to me and more realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody to join an Lexus in 10 months because most people won't. I think it's cool to share the story, but it's not typical results. All right. Does everybody know where how to find the Redefine blog? Like I use that thing all the time too. With all the stories from leaders on it. I can share that link in the profile below. Does everybody use that? No? Yes?
Some might not, so I would say
yeah, I use it.
Link.
Yeah, that's a good one to use, because you can actually search by subject too. So like you've got a nurse friend who doesn't think she can do it because she doesn't have any sales experience. You can just type in nurse up there, and you're probably going to get a few different stories.
Oh,
yeah, and then you can read one that will resonate with them. Send them one that resonates with them. But and obviously face-to-face is best when you guys are, interacting with people. And if you are interested in talking to the business, if you can get face-to-face with them, try it. I think the second best is if you can get on a FaceTime or a Zoom chat or whatever. And then obviously third is phone, but definitely, and we've all done it. And it's probably cost us all dearly at the end of the day. We've all tried to have those conversations via text message or messenger. I strongly recommend you make a shift there if you are doing that, because your recruiting it's just not going to be as effective. And coach that down. Like if they see you doing it, they're going to do it. Like I told you, my whole new team here, they're all like they've got me going to so many happy hours. I feel like my husband's going to think there's a problem soon. I'm like, no, I just had one, I swear. I set that example, and now they're duplicating that down, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? Megan, are you frozen?
No, I was just reading, I think we need to all, and I mentioned this last week, sorry, because I was looking at somebody just messaged me something. as of now, we don't know from corporate yet if our Fast Start program will end on September 30th or not. And we need to act as though like it's ending because we have not heard anything from corporate, meaning that if somebody doesn't sign by September 30th, they will not have the chance to earn back their entire investment. And that is like such a huge seller. So again, I'm going to tell you guys this week, reach out to your fencers, make sure they know. But here, when I say reach out, I mean text them and be like, listen, Sally, I got some news. I know you've been thinking about Rodeo Fields. I know you've been dreaming about it. So let's get on the phone. Can you chat tonight at 10 o'clock? That's the kind of stuff I want you to text. To get them on the phone, and then you tell Sally, listen, here's why we need to get you started now. The Fast Start's ending. We're going to get you in. We're going to earn your kit back, and you're on top of all your commission. I don't want you to tell them through text that the Fast Start's ending. I want you to get them on the phone and tell them on the phone. Okay.
Well, and here's the thing, all that stuff too, like Fast Start, PC, and blah, Elemental P, they don't know what any of that crap means. Like, honestly, they don't. So that's why it's important to get on the phone, or best case scenario, in person or through a Zoom, because now you can actually show them that document. You can do screen sharing on Zoom. Like right now, if I wanted to, I could share my screen with you guys, and I could literally be like, okay, so here's the Fast Start. It's a lot easier if I show this to you. So here you gotta sign these 2 people, get them to EC and hold this, and now you're gonna get your investment back. And oh, by the way, look over here. If you can get to level 3, which is 4 people underneath you, now you can get your kit back again. And if you miss the first, you can get it the second time. And if you get it, 1 and you miss the other, that's okay. At least you've made your money back, type thing.
Yep.
So definitely get them on the phone, but then try to show them so you guys can look at the same thing. Because I feel like we ramble so much off them, and they're like, what the hell are you even talking about? And we don't have a visual. Like, you would never go into a sales meeting and then pitch this whole big presentation to you without, like, they hand you like a deck. So like, I'm in marketing. When I go and they're trying to pitch me on something, I'll just start blabbing stuff at me in acronyms. They literally hand me a sales deck and we flip through it together. So keep that in mind when you're doing presentations too. Whatever you're going to talk about, you should have a visual with it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you're gonna go through Fast Start and you're gonna do it on the phone, send them the document while you're on the phone with them. Like, hey, I'm gonna send you an email, or you in front of your computer or whatever. We can look through this together.
Good stuff. All right, Jess.
All right, everybody. Oh, so I was thinking of a little challenge, Megan, and I don't know if you want to throw up a prize, but I really think it would be great if, so how many days do I have of this? A week?
Yeah.
Right?
And you get to pick
try to, every day this week, try to add a friend request somebody based on an interaction you've had in person. So whether it's you're at the coffee shop and you've had the same barista for a year or whatever, and you love her and she's so fun, just be like, hey, are you on Facebook? I'd love to connect with you, or whatever. Try to do that. 7 people this week, of people that it doesn't have to be that you interacted with this week necessarily. Maybe you've interacted with them recently and you just never looked them up and added them. Maybe you had a good business meeting with them or whatever, mom at school. Just try to connect with some people that you could go out with in person in the near future.
Cool.
Hey, Megan.
Yes.
Just a quick question. Are you going to talk a little bit about the business opportunity Wednesday too?
Yeah, it'll end with a video of me talking about the biz. Yep.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, ladies. Thank you. Thank you, Jess. You guys will hear from us a few times through the week. And of course, post any questions that you have, and I will post this replay link.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.